Imagine this. You are 8 years old, but the language of your world is not play. It is the heavy silence of a parent's disappointment, the unspoken weight of their unmet dreams settling on your small shoulders. Your playground is a minefield of adult anxieties, and your only toy is a mirror, reflecting back the person you must become to survive. The little adult, the peacemaker, the emotional custodian. You learn to decode the subtle shift in a tone of voice, the meaning behind a sigh. You master the art of de-escalation before you've mastered long division. Your own needs become a foreign language, forgotten out of necessity. This is the genesis of a profound and unsettling paradox. A childhood that looks mature and capable on the outside, yet is built on a foundation of profound emotional absence. We praise these children for being so grown up, blind to the cost of that premature aging. What happens to the self when it is constructed not from the inside out, through exploration and wonder, but from the outside in, through adaptation and survival? The child who navigates the treacherous waters of adult emotions becomes a sailor who has never felt solid ground. They can read the storms in others, but have lost their own internal compass. This is not maturity. It is a beautifully constructed defense mechanism, a performance so convincing that the actor forgets they are on a stage. But what is the hidden psychological machinery that forces this transformation to begin with? The answer is more unsettling than simple hardship. The engine of this premature aging is not tragedy itself, but a fundamental inversion of the natural order. The child's psyche, a vessel designed to be filled, is forced to become a container for the unresolved pain of the adults around them. Carl Jung would recognize this instantly as a violation of the archetypal parent-child dynamic, where the child is unconsciously enlisted to carry the shadow, the disowned grief, anger, or fragility of the parent. This is not a choice, but an instinctual act of self-preservation. To secure the love and stability they need, the child must become what the parent cannot be, emotionally resilient. They are thrust into a role prescribed not by their own nature, but by the void they were born to fill. Philosopher Martin Buber warned of the danger in reducing a person to an it, an object to serve a function. The parentified child becomes an it of emotional labor, their own budding identity sacrificed on the altar of familial equilibrium. This creates a schism in the soul, what Jean-Paul Sartre might call a state of bad faith. The child is forced to wear a mask of competence so young that the face beneath never truly forms. They live inauthentically, not out of cowardice, but as a primal strategy for connection. The great, hidden tragedy is that this adaptation is a brilliant success for survival, but a catastrophic failure for becoming a whole self. But what is the ultimate toll of this brilliant, catastrophic success? What unseen consequences fester beneath this facade of capability? If this exploration of the hidden forces that shape a child's psyche is resonating with you, subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue this deep work, so like this video and share your own reflections in the comments below. The consequence is a silent, internal apocalypse. The world sees a highly capable adult, but inside, the self is a ghost. This individual is plagued by a pervasive sense of fraudulence, a chilling echo of the imposter syndrome that haunts those who are never allowed to simply be. Their neurological wiring is set to a constant state of high alert. The brain's amygdala, the threat detection center, remains chronically active, having learned in childhood that safety is conditional and must be constantly earned. They become architects of perfect, suffocating control in their adult lives because the chaos of their formative years was so profoundly destabilizing. Yet, this hypervigilance creates a devastating paradox. They can navigate the complex emotional landscapes of others with the precision of a cartographer, but their own inner world remains an uncharted, forbidden territory. Intimacy becomes a threat, for true connection requires vulnerability, the very state their entire psyche was built to fortify against. They are islands of competence in a sea of unbelonging, forever feeling other in a room full of people. They are, in a cruel twist, both the warden and the prisoner of their own carefully constructed cell. But if this is the prison, what would a key even look like? Is rebellion against the very patterns that ensured your survival even possible? The rebellion is not an external battle, but a quiet, radical insurrection of the self. It begins with a single heretical act, the deliberate and conscious practice of incompetence. This is the counterintuitive solution. You must learn to do things poorly, to be awkward, to state a need without justifying it, to disappoint someone responsibly. This is not a collapse into helplessness, but a targeted dismantling of the little adult persona. You are firing the emotional custodian you were forced to hire as a child. Viktor Frankl's wisdom echoes here. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Your rebellion is to widen that space, to insert a question your childhood never allowed. What do I want? This is the mindset shift, from a focus on functional outcomes to a focus on authentic experience. It is the reclamation of your own narrative. You must become an archaeologist of your own soul, gently excavating the buried wants and discarded curiosities. It is a painful, messy process of reparenting yourself, this time with the unconditional acceptance you are never given. You must grant yourself the permission that was once withheld to be gloriously, imperfectly, and inefficiently human. But this leads to one final terrifying question. What awaits on the other side of this rebellion when the mask is finally off? The ultimate truth is this: you were never broken. You were brilliantly adapted. The you that feels like a fraud is the echo of that perfect, survival-driven child. The final realization is not about fixing yourself, but about welcoming home a lost part of your soul. The grief you carry is not for a childhood you lost, but for one you never had, a legitimate, profound mourning. Integrating this truth is the paradigm shift. It moves you from a narrative of damage to one of profound, albeit painful, resilience. The hypervigilance that once trapped you can, when consciously harnessed, become a deep and rare form of empathy. The responsibility you shouldered can transform into profound integrity. The goal is not to erase the past, but to alchemize it, to take the lead of your early burdens and turn it into the gold of self-awareness. You are not a prisoner of your history, but the sole keeper of its meaning. The child who grew too fast was a survivor. The adult you are now has the power to become more than that. Your final task is not to find a missing piece, but to finally grant the whole, complex, beautifully scarred person you have always been permission to simply exist. The performance is over. The curtain has fallen. Now the real life, yours alone, can finally begin. If this journey toward integrating your past and reclaiming your authentic self has been valuable, consider subscribing for more content that challenges and deepens your self-awareness. Let us know in the comments what resonated most and share this with someone who needs to hear it.